Hello everyone, welcome back to the another session in Principles of Programming Languages. So today we'll be going to learn about record types. This topic you'll find in second unit as topic number 7. So basically we were learning about different data types concerned to the major programming languages. So today we'll be going to learn about record types. Now let's understand what is a record type, in which programming languages it basically used for. So a record is an aggregate of data elements in which the individual elements are identified by names and accessed through offset from the beginning of the structure. The definition seems the same definition for even arrays and associative arrays. Difference is what? Array is collection of similar data elements will access through indexes. Associative array is also collection of data elements we'll access through the key value what we are giving into the data structure. Coming to the record, we'll have a collection of data elements, but we will not access those elements with the index. We'll access those from the offset. Now I'll show you compile time descriptor record. Compile time descriptor record. Now, so basically a record consists of fields. It can have number of fields. So I'm just dividing the field 1 to field n, and these fields will contain of the first field is always a record name, the second are name of the record and the type of the record offset. If you have the other field also will have name, type, address. Keep in mind is that we will not write record name for each of the field. We will write only the record name at beginning of the field, and we keep on increasing the number of fields whatever you wanted to increase for record. Now, so this is what actually basic record is. Now coming to the need of records, why we need records though we have these many of data types, why programming languages will use record. Now take an example that information about a college student, basically it won't be in one data type. If I really wanted to put some data of a student, that student will have many fields, right? That he'll have a name and number and grade point, average, height. So all these parameters are not belongs to one data type. So basically we'll take all these data types into different versions. Let's say name is in string and student number alphanumeric and grade point is floating point. So to put together all this data into one thing, we'll take a record. And now you can also recollect the matter about structure when you concern about C-based languages. Yes, records is being supported by many languages in many forms. Let's say C will support these kind of storage by taking the support of structures. And there are programming languages which take these kind of things in the form of record. Now, I'll show you even that. There is a frequent needed in programs to model a collection of data in which the individual elements are not of the same type. So when the data is not in the same type, we'll prefer the data in different data type. We need a data structure to store that data. That data structure is what? Record. Now, so a data type for such a collection might use a character string for the name, an integer for the student number, floating point for the grade point, so and so. Records are designed for this kind of need. To store different data items together, we need a record. Now, let's see about different programming languages which takes this. The elements of a heterogeneous array are all references to data objects that reside in scattered locations, often on the heap. The elements of a record are potentially different size and reside in adjacent memory locations. And this point we will not see in other data type. The point what I have highlighted here, this point you will not see in other data type because the potentially different sizes and reside in adjacent memory location is a unique feature of record. And let's see, records have been part of almost all popular programming languages. Let's say basic programming languages where records have been in use. So that the languages are what? Fortran and COBOL. So basically COBOL is what? It's a common business oriented language. We'll use data structure in COBOL, which is record. We'll put all kind of data. Let's say if I wanted to record some employee name in the COBOL language to generate some reports or salary report, attendance statement, something related to employee, then I'll use record, because record is the only way where I can put different data items together. So COBOL is a programming language which take data structure or which take data type, which is record. And I'll show you the common syntax how COBOL will use record in the next slide. Let's also focus the remaining programming languages, how it will support records. Now, in some languages that support object-oriented programming, data classes serve as record. So, in OOPS programming languages, we'll use class to combine different data items. In basically C-based languages are C, C++, C#. These three set of languages are profoundly known as C-based languages. These languages support records, and this support through structured data type. And coming to the C++, C# individually we coded how it will get supported. Now, so let's see a common syntax how we will write in COBOL. So basically COBOL uses this kind of structure. If I wanted to put a data about employee, naturally employee data is what? Employee name, employee department, employee ID, employee salary. All these different fields will not consist in one same data type. We'll take different data types to store into the record. So the way of using record in COBOL is not the same in the previous languages. If you see, as far as arrays are concerned in other programming languages, we'll take only one array name and we'll take the number of elements what it is going to have. But the same thing, collection of arrays, something I'm calling in COBOL as record, that will specify like this. Yes. Now we'll write employee record as I mean drawn in the first slide, that record how it consists. Record have number of fields. The first field itself it start with the record. So the record name is what? Employee record. And these are what? Fields of the record. First field is having employee name and the next is having hourly rate. So something, whatever fields you wanted to include, you can include all here, but the record name will have only one. So from this point you have to understand, every record will contain number of fields. Each field again consists of type, name, address. And this is about the way of COBOL records. Now let's see about how the other programming language will support records. Now, so in Python and in Ruby, records can be implemented as hashes, which themselves can be elements of arrays. So in the previous video also we were discussed about associative arrays. So that's what hashes. So even record is a form of hash in your Python and Ruby. Now, so let's say important thing, that the difference in between a record and array. So this is for 2-mark question as far as your end semester examinations are concerned. And the basic differences are what? 2. The first difference is that record elements or fields are not referenced by indices. First difference. Instead, the fields are named with the identifiers and references to the fields are made using these identifiers. We'll not access any record through the index. We'll access the record with the reference of particular field. Now, another difference between arrays and record is that records in some languages are allowed to include unions. So, this is what the fundamental difference in between records and arrays, the data types. Now, let's see about how ADA uses records. ADA uses a different syntax for records, and that is what we shown in the slide the way of using. So it uses basically, in COBOL we'll use level numbers, but here in this record, structures are indicated in orthogonal way by simply nesting record declarations that you can see over here. So I'm using a type keyword. We come to know about subrange, correct? ADA will use a data type which is subrange. Now type is a keyword to specify to which it belongs. Now employee name, type is record. So this is what record data structure I am using for ADA, and these are what the fields into the record. And the next is, once after you insert all kind of fields whatsoever you wanted to keep inside, once after you finish all this, you have to end the record. Later we'll write type employee record, type is record, employee name. So this is what accessing giving the value to the record fields. Here I did not mention any value into it. If I wanted to mention any value into it, I have to access through complete record. So that's what records always accessed through references, not through indexes. So that's what we have given the reference object over here to give the value of it. And this is what the way of writing the records in ADA programming language. And let's see about how it get accessed in Java and C#. In Java and C#, records can be defined as data classes with nested records defined as nested classes. Data members of such classes serve as the record fields. So you can see the example. So this example you can find even from your C-based languages. So when the moment C or C++ will use a structure to define this kind of data, we'll use this dot member operator. Fine. Now if I wanted to define it, I'll write some structure student. Now student basically have what? Integer, some roll number. I'll give all numerical form only, and character, some student name, st name, and it is I'm using character array. Let's say these are what two different data types. Now this is what kind of record in C-based languages. Records being supported in C-based languages with structures. So in order to give the value of this, what we'll do, we'll access roll number over here, right? We'll access roll number dot. So the variable what I'm creating here, that may be of S1, then what I'll do, S1 dot roll number is equal to some 49. So how the way I have passed the value, you have to access the record name versus the attribute field of the record. The same way, employee is my record name is what? Field name. So this is what the value. When you wanted to give a value, you cannot access this name through the index. You have to take with the reference. Employee is record name is field name in the record, and this is what value of the field name. And the same, employee is record, hourly rate is field name, and 13.20 is what? Value. So this is the way how records are being supported in major programming languages. That's it. This is about record types. Thank you all.